So inside here is where I have obviously certain triggers for Monday, which are live, right? Live. They're not like delayed fucking indicators. That's why it's private. And matter of fact, that's probably the first time I've even showed it in Paragon, the fucking actual site itself. But yeah, I mean, I have the timing and the periods of where we should see the rejection. So that's why I said if I was streaming, then obviously you would have been looking for a short around this price region. And going into the 14th, you would have looked for the sweep of the low, took the long on the 14th because we dumped into the weekend. Look for the Monday high to establish. Look for the short on Monday back downwards to like around here, and then obviously you go from there. So there has been trades to take. I've just been fucking busy as shit. Like I've had to get my cars shipped and everything, and sort out a bunch of shit. So I've been quite fucking busy. But pretty much there was a few trades to take. But looking at the structure from this perspective, right? First retest, lower high, and then what you look for is you look for the sign that is accepting below the range, right? So pushed above. This was the wick, right? This was the wick which accepted below the range, right? Now we have obviously some liquidity around here. Let's give this a dollar sign like this. Here as well, and here as well. Now, for those who have seen on, let me just get my X up on another tab real quick. So for those who have seen my post on X about possible bottom formation, so here. Now, to say if we are 100% here is very fucking tricky, man. That's why I don't really speak too much in certainties when it comes to bottoming phases. But if we are genuinely here, well, then this means none of this gets taken, and we just push upwards from here, right? So if we are genuinely here, then this all gets front ran, and we just go up from here. And I would prefer that because I'm in my swings and my spot, right? I would prefer that to happen. The only difference is this bottom in formation was around Q4. This one is obviously from February all the way till August. And matter of fact, even though it's a different time period, what we need to take into consideration, we get another chart, I don't want to delete that one. What we need to take into consideration, which was something I brought up last time, was when this high was established. If we look here, this high was established March 22. This high was established in January. The reason I'm not marking this one is because this was the first significant retest after this correction, right? The first significant retest after the correction, right? This was in, well, let's just say April, right? 2 days from April, right? Let's just say April, this high was established. This one was in January. So there's its relevance that we could potentially have bottomed sooner. But again, it's very difficult to determine this. That's why I'm not speaking in certainties. If we break above 75, 76, and we can flip that average, which I was also talking about, 68K, then we'd obviously be looking for just longs only. And then we'd know the bottom is in. But in this case, the only difference here is that in April 1st, this high was established. In January, this was established. So we formed this bear market pretest 3-4 months quicker than this one. And then this would be your bottoming phase. Now, because this high was established in April and this was in January, it would change the dates of where we could have possibly bottomed around, meaning that this was in Q4. Could this be the equivalent to our Q4 this time around because we obviously established a high 3 months sooner? Well, that would make sense because if this is the bottom, then we'll have 3 months from June, July, August, September. So around that period where we should bottom around. But again, very difficult to determine if that's going to be the case. But that's just another little thing worth observing. We never had a 3-way drive bear market bottom. Yeah, I mean we haven't. Most of it's been 2 drives. If we go here, we obviously had 1, 2. But in this case, if you go on the lower time frame, there was another 2 wicks down here. I remember it because I was trading that as well. If you go here, we had 1, 2. So we didn't necessarily have obviously this like 1, 2, 3. In this case, we just went here, formed a higher, what's it fucking called? Higher low, and then started pushing upwards. So matter of fact, we haven't really had a 3 drive. So it would be something different, right? In this bottoming phase here, we can see a bit more of a different one. I see a lot of people comparing this to now. I'm thinking, why the fuck are you comparing 2018 to now? It's a complete different context, right? When Bitcoin was here, the market cap was sitting at like what, 100 billion? We're sitting at what, 1.2 trillion now? So 10 times bigger. And I don't see us simply crashing 50%. So I don't know why people are comparing this, but even on the bottoming phase here, right? Let's take a look here. So we can see we had one, matter of fact, I wouldn't call this really that strong of a 3 drive, but we could see around here we did have 1, 2, 3, and then obviously push upwards. So we did actually have 3 wicks here. So something different. But after that 3rd wick, it was the bottom and then rounded bottom and then push upwards. And then if we look down here, we formed 1 wick, consolidated, 1 more capitulation before obviously the bull market. So pretty much, even if we are going to have a 3 drive, that should be the bottom, right? So theoretically speaking, if we do somehow obviously like break this range, do something like this, if we do this, then there's a very good fucking chance this is the bottom, and then we just go straight up from here and do that, right? So I think there's minimal downside here. I do know a lot of reputable names who are actually aiming for 49k, which it's not impossible based on the math, but I don't really want to cut it that close in regards to obviously the bottom. But yeah, like I was saying, if we go to here, we obviously have our liquidity below the lows. We have our first retest here. We call this acceptance. Matter of fact, let's do this. So we have acceptance around here. I mean, the good news is that we're nearly done with this shitty market, and then I can actually start trading more swing trades, more nice moves towards the upside, more continuation longs. Like, the structure is just so much more better in a bull market than it is in a fucking bear market. So much more better. So that's why I'm fucking moving in August, because market's dead. But pretty much there are still trades to take. If you are on it and you're trading actively, then there's definitely trades. You obviously have the Monday trigger. You obviously have the 14th. They were 2 trades at the start of the week. The next trigger we have, go here, here. So yeah, this was the Monday triggers, which I was talking about. You can see more times, often than not, they provide quite important insight in regards to what's going to happen, obviously. And then our next ones are going to be, okay, so we have our next one, which is going to be on the 23rd of August, and then we have another one on the 20th of August. So, and then we have obviously another one which happened on the 15th as well. So actually quite a lot of shit happening. So there are trades to take if you know what to look for in it. If you know what periods to look for, and you know like the time periods, then there's definitely some trades to take. But in terms of this aspect, we had acceptance below the range here on this wick, and then we had your confirmed acceptance on this wick here. Let's just make this lower, highlight this, and then let's just create an acronym for this. Let's do that, make it shorter. And now we're pushing upwards again. So pretty much what you'd be looking for is lower high around here, and then you would be looking to obviously these lows to get swept right around this price region, and that'd be equivalent to obviously something like this. The only issue with that is that the 14th pivot would mean that we dumped into it and then continue dumping afterwards. So you have to weigh in the positives and the negatives. From a structural standpoint, it looks like we've accepted below the range. This is going to be a lower high and then we push downwards from a structural standpoint. From a pivot standpoint, we have Monday, we can have a small rejection, but we also have the 14th, which we dumped into, so we could actually see a bigger push upwards. But yeah, based on structure alone, doesn't look particularly great. It looks like the range could break down if we can't hold this. But again, if we are in that bottom end phase, um, which is if we are in this period, then it would mean we don't sweep the lows and we just push upwards. So sooner or later, we're gonna have to find out. We see a lot of compression below this area here. The real objective here is just okay. So what are we more likely to see? Are we going to break through, or are we going to have one more flush before breaking through? And in regards to that, this was another one as well. Now, in regards to volume profiles, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? But in this case, if we marked from the swing high to the swing low, we had our POC and the volume increasing at the lows. Basically, the exact same thing happening here. Now, it doesn't mean we can't sweep the lows, right? In this case, we had rejected the POC and pushed downwards. We could do the same thing, reject POC, sweep the lows, and then go back up again, right? We can definitely do that. I used this when we were at the highs, so I marked from here to here, and you'll have a lot of volume increasing at the highs here. This was a sign of distribution, and over time, we had sweeps above the highs, but we had to push downwards. So we can see sweeps, but that doesn't take into consideration that we are definitely in that like the bottoming phase of market. But just want to quickly go over to that one average which I posted. Also, there's going to be a catalyst as well. This was quite an important post. And if we look here, we obviously always have a recovery before the catalyst, right? And that means we have the recovery and then the good news starts happening obviously afterwards through the bull cycle. There's one post which I'm trying to find. Where the hell is it? Oh, where is that post, man? This was another little one as well, like how we are always forming like the highs if we're in the bottom in formation. It does look very similar. It does look very similar, doesn't it? The only difference is this was a scam we got at the highs. This was here. It looks very fucking similar. So if we're here and we're in that bottom end phase, then we don't have to necessarily break the low. So that's just something worth taking into consideration. Because if it doesn't break the low, don't short the entire fucking move upwards. This was one of them, but this, yeah, this is it. So the moment we flip this red line here like this, that the bottom is in, right? The bottom is in, and that is at 67.4. So we need to flip it with false, with false. We'll take a look at what's going to happen on NY. So we have
I'm not gonna. Okay.
Chris, your mic's on. We didn't realize. Yeah, so our next area doesn't look particularly great. We have these highs here. and then we have this low here. Let's see what NY gives us, and then we'll determine what's going to happen. They compare it to validate their thesis because it's a thing that fits. Yeah. What would you think about little short scalp around 64 now to NY open on 5 minutes? If we sweep London high again, I'll be looking for a scalp short, yes, but we'll have to see in it. We'll have to see. Matter of fact, one thing which is going to be good is let's just remove Asia for now and just have London. And NY. Yeah, we haven't seen quite a good amount of volatility around here, but you can't really tell much. That's the issue. Right, we might get a sweep. Which would be like around here. Let's see if it gives us a fucking sweep because this market has been front running fucking everything. Look at this. Like, look at how close. Didn't even sweep the high. Didn't sweep the high. Didn't sweep the high. Let's take one little one. Take a little one for now. Was trying to aim for a sweep above the highs because usually when you're in a trending market, well, I know we're not in a trending market now, obviously, but I mean, just looking at a few examples here, if we take a look, so many times we front run the highs. It's really a bet in this case is, are we going to sweep the highs? Are we not? In this case, just straight down, didn't even sweep. Literally just like by a fucking fraction missed a sweep. This time we had a sweep of that high. This one we had a sweep, but it was more choppy and messy PA. This time we had a push up, front run the London high, push down straight afterwards. Same thing here, basically pushed up, NY open aggressively, front run the London and Asia high, and then, well, not London, front run Asia high, and then just push directly down afterwards. So has been front run central recently. We'll have to see if we get a Monday high rejection. It's a bit messy, the PA, though. I'm not gonna lie. You have a push down, you have a push up, another push down, another push up. So basically, the timing would be for this particular one would be that we establish some sort of a high around here, and then obviously have the 1.5% rejection, whether it be from here or here. We'll have to see. If it's up here, I'll just re-enter double size or whatever. It depends. Usually I give myself about 2 entries, and if the 2 entries don't stick, then I just simply just sit out and wait for the next trade to present itself. Also, just a little thing here. So if we look, this was when it's green. Obviously, you're looking for longs, but in this case, obviously, this particular one was invalid. That's why, for those who remember, I actually posted a long here in the channel, and it got stopped out on this particular move here. And the reason was relatively simple, was because we fucking broke down to the bottom of the range. So sometimes it can be wrong, but in this case, high, you're high, you're high, you're high, you're high, looking for long, looking for long. In this case, this was this drop here, bit more messy one, but your high established here and so forth. And we are around this period here. So if we're going to form that high, it should have a small rejection back downwards for to catch a small scalp around. But that's one thing in Killer Labs. There's a few things like that, but I don't really share them anywhere on X or anything. To be honest, I didn't really share them in here either much. So, but it definitely trades to take, and it's based on time. It's not based on some like delayed thing. You just have to observe the structure, understand the timing, and then once you understand the timing, everything becomes relatively a little bit more simpler. So yeah, in this case, you want to see what's being swept, the structure, the trend, what we're accepting above, below, around, and then that's how you trade these particular pivots. And basically, intra week. Let me go quickly. So I have one, two. There are so two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have about 10, 11 pivots a month. No, 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 no. I have about 16 to 17 pivots a month. Some stronger than others. This is obviously one of the pivots on Monday. If we get that high to be established around here, take a scalp back downwards and catch that move, sit out, wait for the next one. I've been wondering, um, for some time. Where did you learn all the stuff that's gone to related book? Of course, I'd like to learn more stuff relating to it. So all of this, all of this stuff, man, is self-taught, like just by observing the charts. I haven't really read any books trading related at all. I think like there's just one book, but I've already mentioned it, and it's not really to do with trading. It's to do with how like the cycles and stuff, like how everything is moving in a cycle based on history and what's happened in the past. So all of this stuff is, yeah, that's the book, The Fourth Turning. But in regards to trading related, man, I haven't read anything. This is all just the product of putting in a lot of time and effort into understanding certain things. It involves a lot of back testing on trading. Yep. I mean, if you take a look, man, like if you take a look on X, for instance, a lot of people like post the bare minimum type of analysis and stuff. And the reason why is just because they just want to post for the LARPing crap. What I do with like certain dates and time periods, it requires you to go back and look at the chart, analyze what's happening, and stuff like that. Obviously, I don't post everything on X just purely because there's a lot of people who do copy and imitate and try to claim things, and there are a lot more people who are doing it now. So that's why like I'd say 60% of the pivots are usually behind, well, 65% of the pivots are usually behind closed doors mainly, because it's just no point posting it on X when people are just going to claim credit for it. And I mean, a lot of people, matter of fact, a lot of people were talking about, oh, this Monday pivot or whatever is something you just discovered. It's going to decorrelate now that you brought it up and all this other shit, bro. But that's kind of funny because if we just go here real quick, let's take a look here, right? This is my site, right? So let's just take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was obviously, again, it can get stopped out if we're about to fucking shift the trend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one bit more tricky, bottom of the range. But if you take a look at the consistency behind certain ones and so forth, there's a lot of consistency behind them as well. So this isn't something fucking new, right? I've been doing this shit since like last year, right? This isn't something which I've just discovered miraculously out thin air. And the reason why I've actually stopped posting the Monday pivots as much on X is because, to be honest, like I'd rather keep them to myself personally. You see, the thing is right. You can post on X like um, a pivot. Like, for instance, I posted the Monday pivot right today, which is here. People see, oh, we're rejecting on Monday, but guess what? They don't have a clue where to look, right? They don't know where it's going to establish itself. They don't know how high it's going to extend. They don't know what to look for, right? So you can post this shit, right? But 90% of people just don't have a fucking clue where to look or what to look at, right? So that's the beauty of it in a way. You have to understand how to use these certain things to your advantage. It's one of them things where you have to involve multiple different confluences. Obviously, this data is very fucking useful, but you have to understand how to use it, because if you don't, then okay, this gives you information, but it doesn't tell you what's going to happen, where it's going to reject from, or like what to look at. I was going to try to automate a system to do it, but the only issue is it takes a lot of fucking time, a lot of time. Yeah, I've got one of my whale buddies who holds 11 million in BTC, and he's just said, "I'm opening position at 47,000." But yeah, he holds about $11 million in Bitcoin. and he has a limit at 47k. So I think a lot of people are betting on a lot of OGs as well, betting on that one final push downwards. That is not Garrett. It's someone else. He doesn't use socials much. But yeah, it's not Garrett. Nope, not him either. But this guy's been in the cycle since like 2014, 2015. And he said to me, I'm opening a position at 47k with 250k on 25x. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's like it's one of them things, man. It's like you're either gonna get the flush or not. Like if he doesn't get the flush, obviously he won't be long, but he'll long if the price starts going upwards and changing the trend in it. And he's already holding a fuck ton of Bitcoin anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's blocks. Nope, it's not him either. Nobody knows who he is. He keeps his identity private. Like he isn't even in this Discord. Is Bitcoin still short entry or should you go in later? So we've got a small entry now, just a small one, and we'll see if it extends a little higher. If it does, I'll maybe look for a little add and then invalidation like slightly above this high here. If the invalidation is taken, then I'll look for like around here. This will be my last entry. If it gets stopped out here, then I just simply won't look for shorts. But to be honest, as I stated at the start of the stream, you would have been looking for a long at the 14th, right, over the weekend. Once we've swept this low, you would have been looking to long this into Monday, and then you would have been looking for the short, which is what I'm looking for now. But yeah, what what did you work before you came into crypto? Well, that's a good question. Is because I was studying computer science, and then COVID-19 happened, and I was stuck indoors the entire time. And during COVID, that's when I picked up forex and getting into the markets. So like COVID, in a way, benefited me because it gave me a lot of time, um, I guess, to venture into something. But like in regards to actual work, I've always worked for myself, man. Like I always do things on my own terms, and then got into Solana had a big hit, and then after Solana, I think I lost 50% of everything, and then that was a big wake up call. It was on the crash on Sol. That it feels like yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been a long fucking time since that happened. Where the fuck is that? Sol. There it is. It was on this. Because when it was like down this, I was like, damn, it's got to be close to bottom, right? See this? When it was like this, I was like, it's got to be fucking close. And then it literally done another minus 86%. So I made a fuck ton here. And then I was holding Sol from here to like 50. And that was where I lost basically 50% of everything I made on this move. And I regret one thing about Sol is because when we were here and we recovered, when we had this wick, I had a long on this at $11. My liquidation was like 4, and it was a fucking massive position, right? I was holding like around here. I think it was like fucking hell, like 25,000 Sol or some shit. And if I held that, I mean, you could say if, but maybe whatever, but that would have been an absolutely wild trade, but I didn't hold it. And then I rebought spot like somewhere here. This was before I had X. This was in another Discord group, and then obviously caught most of this, and then closed like when we were at like 200. I didn't wait for this area here. I'd rather DCA like I've been doing, keep the 20k under, then continue to long. Yep. I mean that's what I'm doing. I mean, if I get licked on my 31k liquidation, I mean I say well look, my liquidation currently is at 31k on that long, but realistically speaking, I have the money to make the liquidation 0, right? But if we get to 31k, then I will just long again. I'll just close the position long at a better average with bigger size. But if the 31k lick gets taken, I think I will lose like 300 300k or something. So yeah, that's not going to be fun. But again, I've already said that 75% is in spot. So if that position is licked, once we recover, obviously, and go to 126, because my allocation is mostly in spot. Obviously, this ain't going to be pretty, but if we basically, because my allocation's at 65.9 region, if this gets taken 300, basically from here to like 100k, I would have recouped this loss here on just a spot and a little bit of profit. The moment we get to 126, I would have recouped like all the profit. No, I mean all the loss from here, and I would have like profited very nicely as well. So it works both ways. It's like, either if it gets fucking taken out, I lose 300 fucking k, or like whatever. Like I'm still gonna make money when the price goes up. It doesn't matter to me really. It's just a matter of leveraging yourself, innit? If you think that we're not gonna go to 31k, well then fuck it, innit? You take a long. Like you've got to be bold in these markets, man. I mean, like when I was shorting 123 on 3x, right? Think about it, 3x, right? All we had to do was go up to 160, and at the time, right, when this shit was happening, right, when we were here, when I was shorting, it did feel like shit. This is risky. This is even though the timing and everything was good. There is an element of this looks a bit fucking risky. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced it, man. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced taking a fucking solid trade at a solid area, and then come again 5 6 months, and you're like, fuck's sake, I wish I should have held it, right? Everyone has went through that. And when we were here, I was feeling very similar. I was like, fuck this, 30%. I could fucking lose a lot if it goes back up. But um, gladly enough, I fucking held most of it till when we were 80K, and that has closed most of it. And then I had another short at 90, 95, 96, all the way down to, obviously, closed that at like 68K. I didn't wait for the 59, but pretty much it's always at the extremes where you second guess yourself. So it's like when you're here, you're like, shit, this could extend a little bit higher, right? And obviously now when we are here, there's an element of doubt as well. It's like, shit, what if I get liquidated at 31K? There's always going to be that element of doubt, and that's why the market's quite tricky. After the FTX collapse. No, that was not after the FTX collapse. That was before that. On the drop on the Sol from here to 50s. I wish I got in during COVID instead of playing FIFA. Yeah, I mean, during COVID, I think I played a little bit of Call of Duty, and I bought some lithium stocks, and I fucking made like 300% on something called Vision Lithium. And this was like before EVs and shit was like going bananas. I made a good amount. Then I bought some fucking stock called DSGT, and it was an EV company. And let's just say this was at $1 when I bought, whatever. But they diluted it to the max. So all of the gains I made on Vision Lithium, I fucking lost. And I went into Forex, traded gold, and that was where I was making quite a good amount from gold, is because this was when gold was around this price region here, and it was consolidating for a fucking long time. And all you had to do really with gold is just long on the drops. And when that happened, obviously I was just long in, long, and so forth. And then I went into trading Nasdaq as well. It's basically the same fucking shit. You just long all the retraces, and so forth. And then went into crypto. When would you recommend someone? Would it be only to buy Bitcoin as much as we can? It's okay to get credit from the bank. I mean, it's obviously risky to do that, but I mean, you have to look at the interest rates which banks charge on loans. And obviously, if the math of Bitcoin outperforming the interest of a, like, you're going to pay on that loan, then it's definitely not a bad thing. I like what I'm trying to say is you have to understand what you're doing. Like, oh, I'm going to get a loan from the bank and buy Bitcoin. You need to work out the math. You need to, okay, so the bank's going to charge me, I don't know, this much per month for this loan, or this much interest within a year. And then if you expect Bitcoin to go from 63 to 126 within 1.5 years, then you calculate the interest which the bank's going to charge you for the loan. If Bitcoin is going to outperform that, then you can take the loan. But you also need to be prepared for the unexpected. Let's say Bitcoin doesn't perform as well as you think. Well, I mean, that would be something it's never done before, right? Because it's always fucking performed, right? But let's say it doesn't. Are you able to pay off them payments for the loan you take, or you just have to sell your Bitcoin and then pay the loss back? It can work. You just need to be willing to take the risk, and don't fucking leverage it. If you're getting like a loan, don't fucking leverage it on 2x like a fucking idiot. If you're gonna use it, at least fucking do it on spot, right? Because if you're leveraging it, then you're just positioning yourself for fuckery, right? I'd never do that. But if you do it on spot, it's effectively what's fucking Sailor's doing, right? Really, but he's raising capital from investors, buying spot, and then giving them a dividend or some shit, right? It's effectively the same thing. It can work if you know what you're doing. Just don't, if you get like a 50K loan and you do 50K on 3x, well then you're a fucking idiot. If you get a 50K loan, buy 50K Bitcoin, then it can work because of the returns of Bitcoin, right? But again, you have to be prepared for, okay, let's say Bitcoin is going to go to 126K, but let's say it takes 3 years to go there or 4 years to go there, then you have to be prepared to pay the interest. And basically, you have to know if you can afford the loan. So it can work. You just need to be very mindful of what you do. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, it's a bad idea to take out a fucking loan to buy Bitcoin because it really isn't if you know exactly what you're doing. You just have to be very mindful of what you're doing. A lot of people do that with many different things. It's not just investments. People take out loans for their businesses and shit, and it works out. So I mean, it can work. You just need to fucking calculate the interest of how much they're going to charge, and it can work. So, but if you already have money, well, then you don't really need the loan, do you? So, really depends on your risk tolerance. Very choppy. Not really seeing anything, can we? Same 2x average on 31K gets hit. If 31K gets hit, bro, I'll probably take out a loan myself and just buy even more spot. Power drill. That chart. That chart looks a bit incorrect. It looks a bit incorrect. Well, it's not a bit incorrect. It's very incorrect. This box is extending up to April. This box is like massive compared to these. Look at that. So 365 days and he's somehow got April 27. That doesn't even make any fucking sense, bro. Like that the line would be literally here. And he's basically marked it. April 27 to here. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, if you do it here, right? Just do it roughly, quickly. Like, it's here, bro. And he's got it all the way over here. I don't know what planet that guy's on, but he obviously doesn't know how to count. But yeah, that chart's very wrong. I think that looks like a chart which a lot on X posts. Like, wait, who posted that? Who posted that? Don't tell me I follow this guy. Is it Rectober? Who posted that? It can't be him. Yeah, I'm just seeing because it has a little watermark here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It just says wrecked, and then I can't make out what the rest says. Bro, my lick is at 21K, and I'm kind of worried. Imagine, yeah, I mean, like it's just natural though, man. It's natural. Like human emotion elevates during certain periods. It's like that's why most people fail, man. It's like that's why most people fail. I'm long 63 too. Should I add more here? Um, well, you would have. I mean, if I was long from 63 too, I would have looked to close when we had the sweep into NY of these highs. It depends what your objective is. If it's a scalp or a swing, like structure's a bit messy right now, but I mean, like you see here, you have here, here, it rejected, sweep, rejected again. I mean, realistically speaking, you would expect this to break and sweep this low here. It would be a bit strange not to, but that's been the price action recently. It hasn't been particularly that readable on the lower time frame, so I haven't really been looking too much on the fucking 5 minute, for instance. Well, Rectober, yeah. From Fence, I never heard of him. Or Ted. Yeah, Ted is an idiot. Who do you respect the most on X as a trader aside from yourself? I don't know, man. Honestly speaking, I don't really pay attention to anybody on X, like at all. Like I don't go on there to see what other people are saying. Really, I just post my stuff and that's it. Like I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest. Like I said, I don't really pay attention to many other people at all. I'm short. What's that? Oh, you're short from 63 to if you're short from 63 to, then I probably would have. I mean, you have to define your plan in it, because if you were short on this wick here, stop loss should have been break even from the moment it had this retrace. If it went up and you continued to hold, that was a mistake to do, because we did actually retest here, held. Now we just had a sweep, so it just depends if this is going to be corrective or we're going to have a leg up to here, sweep here, and then go down. If we have this sweep, then I will probably look to increase my position for the Monday high, but we'll have to see. Thoughts on USD's humanting? Well, it's always been bullish on the higher time frame when that happens. Always been bullish. Yeah, see, this whale is saying, if BTC does not come to 47K, I will never use crypto anymore. Mark my words. Don't forget to upload this stream. I missed it. Oh fuck's sake! I've forgot to record. Fuck's sake. Just like it's very slow today with Monday. Might get the retrace later on. Really depends. Because pretty much, if we don't get the retrace from the current high, it could extend to 63.9 to 64, which is around this high here. So if we don't get from here that Monday high, it will be from up here. If that happens, then I will double the position, put stops like around here, and then I'll be looking for a 1% drop downwards. Then I'll close. If it gets stopped out here, then I'll take another entry, which would be bigger than both these two, and then that'll be my final short. If this gets stopped, then simply I just won't take another short. But I think you should be careful with shorts, anyways, man. It's because we're at the bottom of the range, so like if it isn't really too favorable. Like when we're in a bull market, like my sizes are going to be massively different because we're in a more liquid environment. But yeah, I mean SpaceX as well. Yeah, very nice. Fucking finally. Looks like hype went up a little bit higher than where I closed earlier. I don't. I think hype is in a bit of a tricky area, but you have this area here, and if it can't flip that, well then look, you have your sweep, you have your lower high, you have your break of structure, inspection, break of structure, deviation, break down the low, swept the low, swept the high, swept the high. If it sweeps the high, it goes back down and corrects like this, which would be with Bitcoin as well. Do you think if it's a long opportunity for SpaceX in long term? I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure about every dip. He might crab a little bit like Tesla did for a while before going like parabolic. That's a long term buy for me. So Actually, you know what? I might look for a little scalp on this as well. It's matching up with there as well. I'm going to take that on another account on my phone as well. One. See, that's the fucking thing. Like, by the time I fucking post it in my channel, it's already moved a bit. Yeah, like I can't. It's no point now. No point even posting that. Unless it goes back to entry. See, I was about to post again, and it's dropped a little bit again. This is the struggle. Tempted to sell my Tesla stock and rotate into SpaceX. I mean, it's a bold move. Are you in hype now? Yeah, and in here, the small position. What do you reckon about gold? Because based on what I've seen, it's pretty messy and shit. It's bearish trend forming a lower high now. Yeah, it was. Gold is a tricky one. Took the fucking stop ever so slightly. It's a bit of a messy one. It's like one of them things where you have to be very married to the conviction of the top being in, but you need to also have your invalidations in place. But yeah, nothing has changed. I still believe it's macro topped, man. Like Come on, give us a little test. Bitcoin, 1%. What's your TP on hype? It's manual at the moment. It's a manual trade. Manually monitoring based on the present price action. BTC stopped moving. Yep. Gold's been naughty. I mean, gold has been messy. Calls have been bought on gold, aiming for 5,500 again. Bro, if that happens, I will send you 10K myself. Because that ain't happening. That's how confident I am in this shit being topped. Because look at this. You'd be betting against history. You'd literally be betting against history. Look, right. You have every BTC bear market against XAU, right? You have 86, 83, 76, and 70, right? Every bear market. So we have the bear market bottom, 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 and now we're here, right? This means that gold should significantly underperform against Bitcoin, right? And in the process of that happening, this goes up. Bitcoin dominance goes up against gold. People rotate out of gold into Bitcoin because why the fuck would you buy gold if it's like, bro? Whereas, like, fucking full on history gold chart. Like what? Come on, bro. Let's be a bit rational here, but come on. This is ridiculous. Like, let's just be perfectly rational here. You'd be basically buying like here, and then it dropped. 50%. This is a macro top formation. I do not see this going any higher for a long time. Again, the history is there. The chances are low but never zero. I mean, if you apply that logic, the chances of Bitcoin going to 16K is unlikely, but there's still a possibility, right? Like, I mean, theoretically, we can go to 300, but it's unlikely, right? I don't know. Money printer can keep going, keep everything up. It's been doing it for a while. Yeah, but the thing is, you need also these institutions look for an attractive risk reward. Do you see all of these institutions lobbing their capital into a chart which has already performed, um, its blow off the top? Like these moves do not happen on a regular basis. They happen every 20, 30 years, right? 20, 30 years, right? Last time we had something similar was back in 1980, then 2002. And then 20 years later, we see the same thing. And you're looking at something which happens on a very um, on a basis which is not very frequent. So the question you have to ask yourself do you see these institutional people, or whatever you want to call it, lobbing their capital into an asset which has already performed its massive blow off the top? And quite frankly, I don't see that happening. Why would I buy gold here? Like after this massive move, right? Let's just take a look. So we had 1980 here. Then you had, let's say from here, right, where it started just going vom upwards rather than this slow crab. Then you had 2008 all the way up to 2011, and then from 1977, and then you have from 2022 to 2026. So yeah, you have 3 years in between. You have 3 years in between. 3 years in between would be 2025. But my point is like you don't see these things happen on a frequent basis, and there's absolutely no chance in hell I would be buying up here. That's just my thoughts. I think that I think personally that if you didn't catch the move up on gold, I would just leave it alone, wait for it to retrace significantly to like sub 3K or like 3Ks, and then look to like buy. That's just me personally. That's what my plan would be. Think we'd see 3K on this, and I would just have capital in Bitcoin instead. Like the attractive risk reward is much better on Bitcoin than it is on gold. I mean, look at this PA, bro. Horrendous. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks, man. 4 fucking wicks holding the same area. Crazy. Hopefully you get some fucking movement, man. I hate gold. Yeah, it's a rough one. Yeah, I'm with you, but the market conditions back then are not the ones we have now. Currencies broke at 2008. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the macro conditions personally, and I'm just a pattern trader. I trade based on patterns, not environments, which can be um, which can influence your decision decision because naturally, if you traded Bitcoin based off macro, then you would never buy the bottom because every single time Bitcoin is relatively low, macro conditions aren't that great, and then Bitcoin goes up. So the only issue is when you pay attention to it too much, it can influence decisions. So I just trade patterns. Where's the weekly open on Bitcoin? Uh, Gold is my toxic relationship. Honestly, take a look at Sandisk. Sandisk. The last time I saw that, it was quite high. I know it's rejected a bit now. You know what's happened here? This is what you call Wall Street fuckery here. Wow. So it dropped 50. It's got to be 60% of our market from the high. 59% drop. 84% recovery. That is some wild shit. What the fuck is that? Awful. Yeah, this is a fucking rough one, man. Very strange how it's recovered that quickly. Now we have some strength from hype against Bitcoin. Is this the week? Yeah, I mean it's fucking slow. Very, very slow. Do you use Elliott Wave? You see, Elliott Wave is it's good, man. It's like I can't explain it. I use it, but I don't mark the waves out if that makes sense. I've been trading quite a long time, and it just comes naturally to me. I mean, you have different types of like wave counts. Obviously, you have the more advanced ones, um, and the more basic ones, right? And I think Elliott Wave does work. It does work quite nicely. On the higher time frame, you need to be a bit careful with it because there has been I have known quite a few great Elliott Wave traders, and what happened was is there were certain patterns which should have certain extensions to certain regions, and they just don't get hit, right? So Elliott wave is very effective if you like are not too married to one particular region, if that makes sense. Because just like anything, right, it's the same with any pattern, right? Any pattern, right? It could be time-based patterns, any pattern, right? They can always be invalidated, right? It works with pivots. It's the same thing with like pennants, flags, whatever it may be. Every single pattern can be invalidated at some point. But yeah, Elliott wave is still very good confluence to use. Very good confluence to use. Ideally, you want to look at multiple different things, not just one thing. So you like maybe implement Elliott wave with some other different type of confluence, like liquidity or candle range theory, or even pivots themselves. You can implement them as well. So it's like one of them things you just gather more confluence. But yeah, they're good, man. They're good. You can use them on the higher time frame as well. I mean, in this case, you can see the same thing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the same thing basically on the drops as well. In most of the bull cycles as well, you have the same thing. Very corrective move here, like this, and then you had something very similar to the move upwards. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you had correction downwards. Same thing. So I mean, very useful on the higher time frame as well. You just need to understand the context, the positioning, and everything. So yeah, I mean, where the fuck is my chat gone? What's happened here? 1 minute. It's NY on Wicket. Yeah, it's very slow, man. Very fucking slow, isn't it? Very slow. I was gonna end the stream because I didn't want to stream for 2 hours long because usually we cover mostly everything, and now we're just sat waiting. And we're still fucking waiting for something to happen in these two positions. Because I still need to do some organizing and shit and like get ready shit which I'm taking with me and stuff. So if we keep dragging along here, then I'm gonna just have to hop off and then update it in the stream trades channel. The trades, but it's taking fucking ages. You would have expected a rejection about now or some fucking movement at least. But yeah, well, I mean, this is why I said, man. This is why I said that I'm sorting out this shit now, so that when the market's fully in a bull market, shit's gonna be a lot more fun, man. A lot more entertaining, a lot more interesting, right? Don't get me wrong. Catching a leg downwards. Let's say you're short from here. Catching this leg downwards, it's very satisfying. But I tell you one thing: catching a move like this, there's no better feeling in the world than being long on a move like this. It's not the same feeling as being in a short from here to here. It just is not. So a lot more exciting times than this fucking shit here. This is some wild coin though, man. I wouldn't even touch this, man. It looks a bit odd. I wouldn't touch it. Oh fucking hell, man. Going to sleep here. All right, I'm gonna post it in the stream trades channel. I'll update that. So I'm still in these two positions. Nothing's changed. I posted them the plan in the stream trades, obviously. Um, SSL on Bitcoin as of now. If we get a test of 63.9 around here, I will add to the position with stops here. If it's stopped here, then I'll take a second short with stops here. Target the move down for Monday. And if this is stopped, then the second entry, then I won't take another trade, and I'll just wait at the moment. But you should keep the trades relatively small. Hyper have a bit more conviction in around here. Is testing a more important area than Bitcoin at the moment. It can, well, I mean, you can see for yourself, it's broken down, retested. It's just testing the same area it broke from, so a bit more confidence on this particular trade here. But I've still got them both open, and I'm gonna obviously monitor them as well. But if we follow obviously our Monday patterns, then where is that chart? I'll just show you here again. So we follow the same type of pattern. You have your Monday, 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 two triggers, Monday, 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 and Monday. So theoretically speaking, if we follow the same thing we've done, well, you can see 11 out of 11 times, then we'll get a rejection. In the unfortunate event we don't, well then what can I do? We just part of that unlucky part of where we take that trade, right? Just in the unlucky period where we get something like this, where it just breaks down or something, or the pivot doesn't play out. It's just the way the game works. But can you post the BTC entry price and stop loss in the channel? I've posted the chart in the channel so you can see the exact entry and the stops and stuff and the plan. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, I'm gonna update them in the channel. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Probably get some movement now that I'm off. So yeah, I'll catch you later in a bit. Peace, peace, peace.